welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something that I have been wanting to do for such a long time. I'm so excited. We are going to be doing a Little Women reread. If you don't know, Little Women is my favorite book of all time. I love Little Women. I have so much Little Women merchandise and paraphernalia, and this book just means so much to me. Life lately has been chaotic, stressful with school and work and family and social stuff, everything. It's just been a lot. And when everything in my life feels crazy and chaotic, I love to escape to something that's not crazy or chaotic, something that's familiar and comfortable, and that for me is Little Women. So this video is going to be done in either 2 or 3 parts. This is a long book, and I want to not only read the book and talk about it, but do activities themed around the novel, which is going to be so much fun. We're going to do outfits based on the March sisters. We're going to be doing some projects, some little DIYs, we're going to do some recipes, all that stuff. So it's going to take a couple videos. So yes, I'm going to now just talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to be rereading this because it's a little complicated. So I have this edition of Little Women, which is the Puffin and Bloom one. You've probably seen this around. I got this quite a few years ago and I love it. It's my favorite reading edition. The pages are so soft. The letters are spaced out really nice. So I really love this edition. It also is not that expensive, just in case like you want to purchase one for yourself. I also have another edition of Little Women, which I haven't actually read through. And that is the Little Women Barbara Heller Chronicle books that has the real letters in it. So essentially there are these flaps, or pockets more like, and inside are letters, and they're all folded so nice. This one's like really nicely folded, and they have handwriting, and they're so wonderful for every letter and like piece of ephemera within the book. So I want to kind of do a joint read. I want to read majority of the text from this edition because it's nice to hold. It's not too awkward. It's big, but it's not awkward to hold. The pages feel good. The spacing is nice. But this one, the spacing of the actual text is quite small. And it has this spine that's holding the envelopes in that's like a bit awkward to hold. So I'm going to be lugging both of these around with me, and I'm going to read the text here and then read the letters here. So that's kind of what's going to be happening for that. Yeah, I'm so excited. I hope that you are in a cozy spot. Make yourself a cozy drink. Grab your own copy of Little Women. We can do some read with me's. That would be super fun. And yeah, I'm just so excited. Also, this book is in the public domain, so I'll be able to actually read some of it to you, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, if you are excited, please like the video. Leave a comment which March sister is your favorite, and also which one is most like you. My favorite March sister, I think, is Jo, which it might change in this book, honestly. This reread might change my opinion, but Jo has always been my favorite character, but I think I'm more of a Meg. So yeah, okay, let's get to reading. I've slipped into something more comfortable to make our first Little Woman inspired recipe. I'm going to be making a apple spiced chai latte. If you didn't know, Louisa May Alcott's home where she wrote this book was situated in the front of an apple orchard, so all behind the house were apple orchards. Now it's a street, which is sad. And her father, Amos Bronson Alcott, who was a philosopher and educator, said that apples were the most perfect food. And also in the novel we see Jo enjoying half a dozen russets while reading a book, and that means 6 apples. So yes, apples play a huge part in the story. And I have in this little Alice in Wonderland container a lovely, I actually never tried it, spiced apple chai. So we're gonna make a little chai latte. I'm gonna make it with this, and I'm also gonna use a different kind of chai tea because I like to use 2 bags and I only have one of this apple one. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna use this vanilla chai. So we're gonna get to that first recipe. time to start reading. Let's try my latte with the apple spice chai. Okay, I taste the apple. It tastes like apple, like there's this like fake-ish apple taste that I feel like this tastes like, but it doesn't. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Let me try a little more. It's not bad. I like it. The only thing different that I did from this, from my normal chai recipe, is that I put some ginger in the cold foam and of course use the apple tea bag. But yes, so now it is time. We're gonna start reading. The thing I love about Little Women that people don't notice, this is one thing I love, is the preface. So definitely if you're reading, don't skip the preface. The best part of the preface, it says, "Yea, let young damsels learn of her to prize the world which is to come, and so be wise. For little tripping maids may follow God along the ways which saintly feet have trod." Part 1. Chapter 1. Playing Pilgrims. "Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents," grumbled Joe, lying on the rug. Why is that funny to me? I don't know. I just got a genius idea. I want to write down every book Joe mentions in the book, see if I can find them, and then we can read them together at some point. So I'm gonna find a notebook, and we're gonna track that. So she mentions one on page 2. So we have to put that down. This description of the March family's house is so cozy. I swear I have to read it to you. It says, as young readers like to know how people look, we will take this moment to give them a little sketch of the 4 sisters who sat knitting away in the twilight while the December snow fell quietly without and the fire crackled cheerfully within. It was a comfortable old room, though the carpet was fading and the furniture very plain, for a good picture or two hung on the walls. Books filled the recesses, and chrysanthemums and Christmas roses bloomed in the windows. What are Christmas roses? I want to know. And a pleasant atmosphere of home peace pervaded it. I love that. I'm having so much fun. I started doing a Little Woman inspired hobby, and that is embroidery. I love embroidery. I've done it for quite a few years, but I'm only recently getting back into it. I'm embroidering a pair of socks. They're these cute frilly socks. They're my favorite kind of socks I'm wearing. Oh, I'm not wearing it right now. Never mind. Thought I was. And I'm doing a mushroom. This is like the stem that's going to be red. And it's for a gift for a friend. And I'm also watching some cozy YouTube videos. I just feel like this is a hobby that, it obviously was a very popular hobby in the Victorian era, which is when Little Women was set. It feels like something Meg would do, or Amy because it's more artistic, or Beth. Honestly, anyone except for Jo would do it. So yes, I'll keep you updated on the progress on this little pair of socks. I completed the first sock. It turned out so cute. I love it.
She'll stop along the way at Louisa May Alcott's ancestral home, very fondly known as Orchard House.
I think we tend to over romanticize Little Women. We look at it as this like idyllic, cozy, carefree sort of life in a story. But really, Little Women, the thing that makes it impactful is that it's so much like our everyday lives. I'm about 100 pages in. I think I'm on chapter 6 right now. Let me check for you. Chapter 7. I'm on chapter 7. And the thing that I'm noticing that's standing out to me so far, sorry, there are pipes making a noise. It's very strange. Anyways, one thing I'm noticing this time around is these girls are a lot like me in the way that they have to work and they don't really like it, and they have to go to school and they have to do these things, and they decide that they're going to be cheerful about it and carry their burdens joyfully. And the thing of it is they struggle with these things. They struggle with not having enough money. They struggle with their father being away. They struggle with their physical jobs. And yet they have joy because their joy is not found in their circumstances. For these girls, their joy is found in Jesus, in living their life like a Pilgrim's Progress. Little Women, as you probably know, is a bit allegorical of Pilgrim's Progress, which is a book by John Bunyan. It was a very popular book in the Victorian era and also before that, and still to this day. I don't think it's ever been out of print. It's a allegory about this man named Christian as he goes through pretty much the trials of life as he tries to make his way to the celestial city, which is like an allegory for heaven. And this time around, I'm noticing how much that's in it. I think this is actually the first time I've reread this book since having read Pilgrim's Progress, which I read last year. And I see that echoed so much more about how their joy is found in the Lord, although it's not always explicitly mentioned, that is what it is talking about. And also one thing is that their joyful times, their little like plays with Lori, all the fun little things that we know and romanticize and that we love about Little Women, that's done after work. That's done after school. They take that time to enjoy each other's company, to do things together. And I don't think that their lives are perfect, but they're making that effort. And I find that really inspiring. Today was like a hectic day for me. I had so much to do. And this whole week is kind of like that, where I have so much school and work and all this stuff. But the March sisters, if they can take their time after work to be together and to knit and to tell jokes and to put on little plays and to just enjoy their life in that way, then I can too. And I think we all can, and we can take that advice from the March family to just slow down for a little bit. Yeah, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to go to school. But you can enjoy the little moments. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I lit a couple candles. I have the book with me. I'm getting near to my very favorite chapter. And I have this feeling that I'm going to cry over my favorite chapter, as I tend to do. And it's not the typical, there's 2 chapters in this book people cry over a lot. This chapter is not one people cry over. I'll talk about it later when I get to it. But I have that, and then I also have, I have a cup of tea. I've got a little coloring book, some colored pencils. So I'm just gonna take a little time. It's pretty late, but I'm gonna take a couple minutes to just enjoy my life, just like the March sisters do. And yes, tomorrow I have to wake up and go to school and do all the hard things that I have to do every single day all over again. But right now, I don't have to worry about that. Right now, it's just a time to be grateful, to praise God, and to just enjoy what I have right now. And so I just encourage you to take time to do that too, because that's really important. So yeah, that's probably all I'm gonna film tonight. So love you and good night. It's about 5:30. I've wrapped up all of my work for the day and I have the house to myself for a few hours. So I thought it's a perfect time to do a bunch of Little Women inspired things, to maybe watch a movie, do some reading, make some snacks. I don't know, it's gonna be fun. So since last time we talked, I've read 2 more chapters of Little Women, and that's within yesterday and the day before, which is the day before was the last time I talked to you. I've just been busy, so I haven't read as much as I wanted to, but I read chapter 7 and chapter 8. Chapter 7 is the Amy Lime scene, and then chapter 8 is my personal favorite chapter of Little Women. So chapter 8 is called Jo Meets Apollyon. I think that's how you say it. It's a character from Pilgrim's Progress. But it's the scene where the girls are going to the theater, Amy burns Jo's book, and then Amy falls into the ice. It's my favorite chapter, not really because of those elements, but for what Marmee says at the end of the chapter. Oh, I realized I'm in the middle of another chapter. I actually started chapter 9. So the whole chapter really is about anger and how that's like Joe's biggest weakness. Each of these 4 chapters in the book, the first one is Beth finds a palace beautiful. Amy, something, what's it called for? I don't remember what it's called for Amy. Amy's Valley of Humiliation, and then it's Joe meets Apollyon, and then Meg goes to Vanity Fair. Each of these chapters is essentially outlining each girl's weakness. So Beth is shy and she doesn't take opportunities because she's so shy. Amy has a great sense of like pride and wanting to be like other girls. Joe, it's her temper, and then for Beth, it's her vanity, again, of like wanting to be kind of like other girls. So that's what these 4 chapters kind of are outlining. But so the end of chapter 8, Marmee says something, and it's so simple, but it touched me so much when I reread the book for the first time in many years when I was 15. It made me cry, and I was listening to the audiobook, which is crazy. And then every time since, it just has a dramatic impact on me, and it's always relevant. So I'm just going to read to you what Marmee says, the end of chapter 8. She says, "My child, the troubles and temptations of your life are beginning, and may be many, but you can overcome and outlive them all if you learn to feel the strength and tenderness of your Heavenly Father as you do that of your earthly one. The more you love and trust Him, the nearer you will feel to Him, and the less you will depend on human power and wisdom. His love and care never tire or change, can never be taken from you, but may become the source of lifelong peace, happiness, and strength. Believe this heartily, and go to God with all your little cares and hopes and sins and sorrows, as freely and confidingly as you come to your mother." So that to me is so simple, right? Go to God like you would go to your mother. I know not everybody has a good relationship with their mother, but I personally do. And just seeing God as that friend, as that companion with anything that happens in your life. And then after that, it says, Joe's only answer was to hold her mother close, and in the silence which followed, the sincerest prayer she'd ever prayed left her heart, without words. From that sad yet happy hour, she learned not only the bitterness of remorse and despair, but the sweetness of self-denial and self-control. And, led by her mother's hand, she had drawn nearer to the friend who welcomes every child with a love stronger than that of any father, tenderer than that of any mother. And just that moment of Joe realizing this, that to me is the core of Little Women. People can say it's feminism, people can say it's sisterly love, but to me, it's a girl finding faith, finding the friend who will never leave her. I'm literally getting choked up talking about this, oh my gosh. Okay. Finding the one, my dog is sitting like right diagonal from me and he's growling. And I'm crying, oh my gosh, okay. What? Come here, come here, come here. This is my little doggy. Do you like Little Women? Do you like Little Women? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Let him finish his barking. Hush! Anyways. Right. So as I was saying, I just feel like it's less about like all these exterior things and more about one girl's relationship with God and finding that she can depend on Him. I know the book follows so many other things, but even in part 2, even when Joe is desperate, the whole part is a journey and it's her finding Christ. Even if it's not always explicitly mentioned, it's her pilgrim's progress. It's Joe's progress. It's how one girl who doesn't always know who she is, who finds her identity in other people and her work, eventually finds who she is in Jesus. And I think that's just so powerful, and that's the main reason why I think this book impacts me so much. So yeah, right now I'm reading Meg Goes to Vanity Fair, which is the chapter where Meg goes to the Moffats. And in this chapter, I have a love for this chapter as well. In this chapter, we meet this character, one of the very few characters who has my name, Belle Moffat. She's not like the best character, but I have this thing in my head. There's a Belle in Little Women, and there's also an old-fashioned girl. She's a little better than this one, but not much. I like to think that Louisa May Alcott was like brainstorming names, and suddenly the name Belle came to her, and it was just this epiphany moment. And little did she know, like, her biggest fan would have that name 250 years later. I don't know, it's crazy, but a girl can imagine what she likes. So yeah, let's go downstairs and get a snack and then do some more reading. admit, although being delicious, a baked apple is hard to eat while reading an edition of a book that you don't want to get dirty. So I'm going to put on an adaptation. I believe I have access. Oh, hi, doggy. My dog's making a lot of appearances in this video. Huh. So I believe I have 3 that I can access. I think I have access to, I know I have access to 2019 because I bought it. I think I have access to 1994. Like, I'm pretty sure I have access to it. And I also think, I'm not certain, but I think I have access to the 2018 BBC miniseries, which I'm not watching. I've seen it twice, or maybe 3 times. Twice. That thing is, it's so angering. I don't like it that much. I hate it, actually. It makes me so mad. And I recently watched it with my sister. I actually watched all those adaptations this year. Most recently, I watched 94, but I don't think I finished it, but I can't remember. I'm thinking we're going to go 2019, but I don't know. I'll see what I have access to. I know I have access to 2019, so yeah. If you're wondering about my opinions on the adaptations, which ones I prefer, what parts are good and which parts aren't, I did a whole, I think it's 5 article blog series where I went into everything from like the plot to what the original book is about. I compared the characters, I talked about the cinematography, the music, the costumes, the morals and messages of the story, the writing, all that. I talked about all of that for 1994 and 2019, and I compared them. So if you are curious, they're on my blog, which is oldfashioned.girl.blog. Highly recommend check it out. I loved writing that series, and I'm very passionate about it. The main thing is, like, I love both of them so much. I think they're both so good and have their own qualities. But there is one that I think is done better. And spoiler, I think that's 2019, even though there are so many things that aren't good about 2019. But I love it anyways. But also 94 is so good, but there are some things that really aggravate me about it more than the things that aggravate people about 2019. Anyways, that's my little soapbox on film. I'm gonna pick one and we're gonna watch it together, and it's gonna be so good. I don't know. It's Little Women. I mean, this vlog is just me in my happy place. So yeah.
Of course.
Oh, well. Morning, sir. Good day.
I've never cried through a movie the way I just cried through that movie. And I've seen the movie like 8 times. Oh my gosh. I think one of the many things that makes Little Women special is that it does take place over such a long period of time. So you always have something new to relate to. Even though you know the story, you experience something else through the lens of the movie, and it like puts your life into perspective. And yeah. Also, I think that was the first time I ever watched it alone, so maybe I was able to like process things in a different way than when I'm watching it with someone else who doesn't understand the story or how the timelines switch and me having to like explain it all. But yeah, I cried with that movie, and it's good to do that sometimes. Like, cry through some movies sometimes. But I feel good, and like I feel very happy now, honestly. The movie is just so good. My favorite thing about this movie particularly, I think, is Joe and Laurie's relationship. Not like romantically, just the way they interact, the way they love each other, the way they just have their jokes. And the first thing when something bad happens, it's like Laurie's at her side. He's got his arm around her. He's making sure she's okay. And that's just his natural reaction. And I just think that's so sweet. I love that. It's almost 10 o'clock. I have not had dinner yet because I'm waiting on my family to get home. They're still not home. So I'm just gonna read more, I think. That's all I can think to do right now. So obviously, we're gonna keep reading Little Women. What else would I do with my time? So I hope you're down for some more bookish fun because that is what we're doing right now. Okay, so I have not updated you on my reading in a very long time. That's because I had a very busy week. I was so busy, I hardly had time to read. Normally I read like every single day, at least a little bit, but I had a couple days last week where I did not read at all. Also, I've been filming another video, which you will see after this video. So I've been doing all that, but today I finished part 1 of Little Women. Just prove it to you. Got part 2. I feel like it wasn't that important to update you much because most of what happens you probably already know, and I wasn't impacted much by some of the later stuff. So thoughts, as part 1 of Little Women, I mean, what can be said? It's perfect. I think part 1, I go back and forth between which part's my favorite, but I honestly think part 1 is my favorite part. Part 1 to me is like, that's like the magic part. That's the part that's just full of life and joy. Obviously part 2 is as well. Like, don't get me wrong. I also love part 2. But like, when you think of like 1994 Little Woman, it's part 1 mostly. And I think there's something so comforting about 1994. And I think that's just like a lot of like what's part 1 is. And those are like the memories that like we share with the March sisters. Things like the Pickwick Club, things like even Beth getting sick, all those little instances just like feel like memories that we all share. Amy falling into the ice, all that stuff. So I'm going to close off this video here, but I'm going to be back reading part 2 of Little Women after a Christmas video for next time. Like, I don't know if it's next week, next time. So yes, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of Little Women, what your favorite part is, favorite character, which March sister you like best, which March sister you're most like, all of that fun stuff. And also let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see. If there's any other novels you'd like me to see me read more in depth, I would love to know. And with that, I will see you soon. So bye, friends.